The rain is moving in and it's going to be with us all night overnight into early Thursday morning. We may actually see a brief break in the showers. As we go into the afternoon, though, we'll start to see that rain filling back in for areas along and west of I-75. That's where we'll have the highest potential to see some flooding as we go through the afternoon. Meanwhile, look at the eastern counties here. We're going to have breezy southerly winds kicking in. That's going to create a downsloping motion in the atmosphere in those eastern counties, which dries things out. So we may actually have breaks in the clouds and breaks in the rain for our eastern counties while we have flooding on our plateau counties. It's really going to depend on where you live as to how much rain you see during the daytime tomorrow. However, by the time we get into the evening, that heavy rain spreads across the entire area. Yes, you're seeing oranges and reds, but no thunderstorms are expected. This is when, though, flooding could be a big problem during our evening commute and after, as all of that water starts to run off. Because of the delayed onset of that heavier rain, rainfall totals will be lower for our eastern counties, around 1 to 2 inches, but 2 to 3, even as much as 4 inches of rain will be possible along and west of I-75. Because the ground is frozen, a lot of that rain is going to fall and initially begin to run off. And as that runoff collects, that's where we expect to have more of those flooding concerns. Because of that, we have had a flood watch issued for everyone except for Cocke and Greene County right now. Remember, I said they'd have the delayed onset and the lower rain totals. That's the only reason you've been left out. It's not personal. For the rest of the viewing area, everybody is in a flood watch throughout the day on Thursday and into early Friday. With that, let's talk about temperatures, because we have a very easily defined cold front back off here to the west. That cold air is getting up and underneath the rain. So we've got a layer of warm air. That's why the precipitation is falling as rain, but then it falls through a thin layer of cold air, becomes super cooled, and freezes on contact with the ground. That's how you get freezing rain. And we're going to have a big freezing rain event off to our west and our northwest over the next 24 hours. That's what you see with that pink there. Ice storm warnings are in effect for this area, as accumulations could be as high as a ½ an inch. That's enough to bring down power lines, cause numerous travel issues. So if you have friends and family back over here, tell them to big heads up, be paying attention, have their phones charged. That's where the ice storm could possibly be. So we are thankful to be on the rainy side of things through the day on Thursday. Friday, though, that cold air may catch up to the lingering moisture that we have here in East Tennessee. And notice this pink showing up on our plateau counties. We may change over to the wintry side of things. Now, ice is going to be a bigger problem for everybody off to our west and our northwest, but some of our counties are highlighted in pink as possibly seeing some of those light ice accumulations into the early parts of Friday. That's why a winter weather advisory has been issued for the counties shaded in purple here, basically all of our southern Kentucky counties. A mix of snow and sleet up to an inch of accumulation, ice maybe 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch up there. That could be a big problem for travel issues, and in our northern plateau counties that I've circled right here could have a light glaze of ice in the morning on Friday, especially on bridges and overpasses. So check back for updates to this forecast, because it's all going to depend on how quickly that cold air can get here and whether or not that moisture is sticking around long enough. Tonight, the moisture sticks around. Scattered showers staying mild, too. Our lows only drop down in the mid to upper 40s to low 50s. That's close to our average highs for this time of year. And then our highs get into the low 60s with breezy southerly winds on our Thursday, with that heavy rain possibly causing some flooding concerns. That colder air moves in on Friday with that very, very chilly air, dropping our highs only into the 30s, feeling like the 20s because of the wind. We are reminded that it is still winter as we go through the weekend and into next week. At least we don't have any more rain on the forecast for beyond the time frame of Friday.